Hello, guys. I'm really sorry. Hello, Derek. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, Derek. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
I'm very sorry. My system just started forcing me to restart before it would open up Zoom.
Oh, okay.
So,
I guess we just wait for that to join now.
he said?
I guess we just wait for others to join.
Yes. How's your day been now?
I know. Thank God. How your side too?
Fine.
Yeah. And they
I
finished
was
us
thinking,
with us submitting yesterday.
eh?
I think they finished someone's time with us submitting yesterday.
I'm telling you.
Very funny. This is more than 8 gig yesterday.
Are you serious?
Yes, no. I was just jumping from one. We even did our CIB and induction yesterday, so it was just a
CIA.
lot yesterday. Was
Elvis,
so
you're very much welcome.
serious.
My sincere
Thank you very
apologies.
much.
My
It's
system
okay.
just
It's okay.
forced me
Hello?
to restart.
Yeah, Zoom does the system. Zoom does that crazy thing once in a while.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was even worried that it might be office policy itself because I updated my I had to update my system today. It was
Okay.
I was thinking maybe office policy don't remove that privilege to even run.
Oh, okay. Okay. They have.
Well, it doesn't.
Thank God it's not.
Okay. I think more people. We'll wait for a few more people to. Okay. I think if one or two more people join, would just get started. I don't know why. Okay. Is anyone? Oh, okay. Odell has it. Share the link again. Okay. Odell, you're very much welcome, sir. I think let's just wait for two people requested for the link, so let them just join and we'll just get started. My sincere apologies once again. My system was just forcing me to, okay, Tunde is on board. My system was just forcing me to restart. So I had to, so I can copy and paste. Please send me the link. This is it. Oh, two people are waiting. Bosco, Akele. Okay, I think they are now on board. I think we might just need to get started. Good evening, everyone. Um, it's another opportunity. Once again, I want to apologize. My system was just messing up. So, but fortunately, it's now back. I hope we are all doing very fine. And this is another opportunity for us to meet up and get to add another knowledge or skill to our tools of, to our knowledge toolkit. So today we'll be talking about introduction to USSD, and one of us who works with, who is currently with Access Bank, would actually walk us through. He's the one handling, or he's one of the team members that's handling USSD implementation in Access Bank. So he would be introducing us to USSD and what it's all about and how it works. So the floor, I think we'll just need to get started. The floor is now open. We want to welcome Dare Osewa to the floor. Dare, the floor is yours, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonny. Good day, everyone. I wouldn't say good evening because I don't know where other people are from. Maybe there are people outside Nigeria here. So good day, everyone. I hope your day went well. My name is Dare Oshewa, a software developer with Access Bank currently. Maybe a little of my background. I started my programming journey doing little scripts with Python. I don't know if everybody can hear me. Sonny, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear you.
so just some little background. I started my programming journey doing some little scripts with Python. I remember I used to do some GIS scripting automation with Python. I worked with some desktop applications, gradually moved to the .NET world where I am currently. I've worked with mobile, desktop, like I said, web, some one or two web technologies too. I think with Python, I've worked with Django and C# currently .NET Core stack. Um, today's presentation will be all about USSD, not about many of those things I've said. And so it will just be a basic introduction to USSD. I'm not here to bore you about all the nitty-gritty, but just to familiarize us with one of the, so you'll have been, this is a technology that we all use day to day, right? So most of the things I'll be saying are not really things that will, are things that you use. So it will be an interactive session. Please, I want people to participate. You can contribute, you can ask questions. I can assure you that I'll be able to answer all your questions, but I will try my best to, in the little way I can. Okay, so maybe we'll just go straight to the presentation straight away. Let me share my screen. Okay, please, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yes,
Okay. Please confirm what you can see so that I'm sure that I'm actually sharing the right thing.
Introduction to USSD.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. So, like I said, this will be a basic introduction to USSD. I've said earlier, my name is Dari Joshua Oshewa. In this session, we'll be running through some basic outlines. We'll be looking at what is USSD, some basic description, the kinds of USSD. We'll look at the basic USSD architecture. How do all these systems, the USSD you use on your phone day to day, what's the architecture behind it? Also, we'll look at how USSD is used. What are the various options, or what are the various uses of USSD? I believe most of us will be familiar with that. What are the key considerations in USSD development? Because I believe most of us are software engineers here, so you might want to know what are the key things that a USSD developer or someone who wants to develop a USSD application should be looking out for. Also some things on USSD app development, and then we'll cap it up with the relevance of USSD in Africa. All through these sessions, I would love that it's interactive, and then if you have questions, like I said, you can drop it. If you have contributions, you can also come in. Yeah, so I'll be starting with what is USSD. So a lot of us will wonder, what is USSD? So USSD simply stands for Unstructured Supplementary Service Data. It's also known as short code or dark code. So the idea is you will be familiar with when MTN came and then star 556 came, basically dialing star 556 hash to check your balance. That's USSD. So the idea is you are dialing a short code that is sent from your mobile phone to the network operator. Basically, the way USSD works is that it's like a protocol that allows instant communication between your own device and the network operator, right? So you are basically able to transmit some messages between your device and the network operator. And one thing that you should know, and I mean, you should be able to differentiate it, is between USSD, the manufacturer defined MMI codes, and the supplementary service codes. If you remember very well, I don't think this thing is still very common, but some days back, some years back, when we used to do all these IMEI things, you remember that when you dial star hash 06 hash on your phone, your IMEI comes up on your phone. So USSD is different from these other codes in a way, because that's the hash 06 hash that you are dialing on your phone. I mean, that code is inbuilt into your device, so it's not calling the network operator. The manufacturer has built that mini feature into your phone to get your IMEI. So there are so many other ones that I also don't know, but I'm just trying to differentiate between these codes. So also, it's key to note that USSD started as far back as when GSM started. So it's really it's an old technology, and I will leave. There's no doubt about that, right? It came before we started having mobile apps and all those things. So the idea was just to develop something. I mean, something small that will allow people communicate between their phone and the network operator, just transmit messages. You want to check your balance, you want to, for value-added services and all those basic things. So they didn't really have a very broad mind when they developed it. And I believe even the person that developed it that time will have been looking, what if I had added one or two things now? If this USSD will, but he's really still doing the great things that he is doing all over Africa right now, right? So also, so what are the kinds of USSD? So like I said, these things are things that really come up on our phones every day, but we might not be able to. So hear me, please, because I'm getting network unstable here. So I want to be sure I'm still live. Hello?
Yes, we
Still
can
like,
still hear
you're
you.
still like,
Yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you. So the kinds of USSD we have the USSD pool. Yeah, so in the USSD pool, the customer dials a specific code. Say you have star 901, the popular one with Access Bank, star 901 hash, a menu comes up, an interactive menu comes up, you can interact with, and then you press one for this and that kind of thing. That's USSD pool. But for the USSD push, basically it's the network operator or maybe some other party. It could be a bank, sorry, please. It could be a bank, a fintech, or any VAS provider pushing, when I mean VAS, value added service provider, pushing an interactive menu to your phone. So you are not the one requesting for it. You will have seen a lot of these very annoying, for me particularly, it's very annoying. I just see that pop up, especially when, for example, have you noticed that when you recharge on for those of us in Nigeria, I don't know, when you recharge on your phone, a pop-up just comes to your phone already telling you what to do, maybe to subscribe to data or just subscribe to ring caller tune or one funny thing. So that's first push. Don't let me say first shot. That push that you're seeing is the USSD push. Meanwhile, when you dial is a pull. So those are the kinds of USSD, and basically this the USSD pool is the common one we use every day to buy airtime and that kind of, they both have different applications. Um, so so I will just run us through a basic USSD architecture. Yeah, so this is a basic one. It doesn't really mean that this is how it is always everywhere or something. So the way it works is when you dial on your phone, basically there's a communication between your mobile phone and the GSM network via the telecommunication tower. So let's look at a very simple scenario. A simple scenario where, let's go back some 15 years ago, maybe when the GSM just came to Nigeria, when we didn't have banks using USSD or NGOs using USSD. You dial *556# on your phone. There's a communication between your phone and the GSM network, right? So the GSM network responds with an interactive menu. So how it happens is that a session is created between your phone and the GSM network, where there's a real-time sort of communication via HTTP or SMPP. So the GSM network is able to push a menu to your phone where you can dial, impute something on a form, or you pass in an input and that kind of thing. That's a basic architecture. But with the emergence of USSD in mobile money usage with banks, we have even individual developers coming up with very innovative solutions. The architecture is even now much more complex, because now, like this one that you're seeing here, we have the mobile phone, communication between mobile phone, the GSM network, then you have a USSD gateway. Now, this is a typical example of a bank. You see at this side, we have a bank. So there's a communication between your mobile phone. It goes to the GSM network via a USSD gateway to the bank and back. So basically you have some applications maybe with a bank, and then basically all those things that you are seeing on your phone is being how do I say it? The response is coming from the bank. So it's not just the GSM network that is responding with interactive menu, but the bank is telling you this is what you will see. The popular one you have with GT Bank, Access Bank, *737# today, when you dial, it goes via the GSM network, the bank responds with that menu, or maybe the aggregator. And then, yeah, there's a concept of the aggregator here. So the idea of the aggregator is that because basically you want people to be able to use your, let's say, for example, the *737#. You want subscribers from multiple networks to be able to have access to your products. So an aggregator stands in between, such that they're able to get traffic from all the telcos. So they can get traffic from MTN, what have you, and then they respond based on response from the bank or from whichever party. So that's a basic USSD architecture. I don't know if anybody has any questions so far, if I can answer, or any contribution so far. Hello?
Okay, I may have a question, but I think it may be way more, maybe for later.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay, it's beyond what we've said so far, right, Abby?
Gary, I have a question.
So.
Sorry, I was paying attention to one annoying call came in that took me offline. So
Okay.
I wanted to ask, I got the point where you were trying to tell us the intermediation between the telecommunication tower, the GSM network, and the mobile phone, but I didn't get the part of the USSD gateway and the application servers.
Okay, sorry, Bosco. I want to know the name of the person that had the question initially so that I can easily pick up later.
Okay, Bosco.
No. Someone said he had a question earlier, so I will come back to your question, Bosco.
Okay, Elvis.
Okay, Elvis. Okay, noted.
Yeah.
Okay, you asked a question. Okay, so Bosco, the part of the USSD gateway and the application servers is that, the way I said it, that usually before it was the mobile phone to the mobile network, right? So, but because other parties are coming into this whole system, right? You have, so you as Bosco now, you can develop your own USSD application, right? Get your USSD string from the NCC. They have some basic requirements that you have to meet, right? I don't know those requirements, right? So you get your, so you can develop your own application. Then you can plug it to maybe a GSM network, right? Such that anytime someone dials that USSD string or USSD dial code, the network or the aggregator will just call your own application. Maybe you deployed it on Azure or AWS or something. Sure, you get they call you, you respond with whatever you want the customers to see, right? So that's just the basic explanation. I don't know if it answers your question.
Yes, Daddy, it does. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'll just proceed. So how is USSD used? I know this should be a very, very familiar thing because these are things we use every day now and then. So because I'm from the banking sector, I would most likely want to deviate towards that side, right? So in the banking sector, basically mostly USSD is used for payments. You have the M cash that will that never really gained traction really. We have products like Coral Pay for payments on USSD. You have account opening. So basically you can do account opening on USSD. A lot of banks are actually doing that, especially in the era of financial inclusion where the CBN is trying to drive a lot of people to open accounts, wallet accounts. So they are basically looking at how can we onboard these people that are not really technology service. So the good way to reach them is through USSD because the advantage of USSD is USSD works across, any type of mobile phone. As long as it has a GSM network, you can dial, you can make a call, then you should be able to do a USSD transaction. So you don't need to install a mobile app or something. So that's the advantage of USSD. Then we also have airtime sales. Me, particularly in all these things, is airtime sales I use mostly. I don't even bother myself. I just dial star 901 star 500, 200 hash, and my airtime comes to my phone. So we have customer inquiry services. USSD is very good for customer inquiry services. Also customer information updates. You don't want, maybe you want to collect update information about your customers. So it's worth to know that, sorry, please. Excuse, is what to know that this is not just all these, some of these things are not can be across other sectors too, right? So it's not particularly banking alone, right? So you can do something in that line. So some other uses of USSD: network configuration requests. This is popular with the MNOs, mobile network operators, right? You can configure your network. Maybe you can request. I remember those days. Maybe you can request something like your internet settings, or very, very useful for all those kind of short thing, value-added services. You want to subscribe for caller tunes and that kind of thing, data purchase. You want to collect surveys. I remember when COVID-19 started. I think GT Bank came with their own. I can't remember the string right now. You just dial and it gives you a form where you're filling. They're asking all those questions about your symptoms and that kind of thing. So USSD is very, very nice for all those kind of, information retrieval thing where you want to really, reach a very wide audience. You don't want to build a mobile app that so it's just a section of people that will have access to. You want to reach a wide audience. So this COVID-19 survey, I think there was a partnership between InterSwitch and some state governments where they had like some dedicated USSD dial codes to each state to collect symptom information on COVID-19. So I don't know, apart from this, do we have people who have maybe other ideas about how USSD can be used? Or can someone tell me how they've used USSD today? Maybe I can have some other, maybe there are even other things that I don't even know about yet.
Okay, all right. So I think I may drop my question here since you
Okay.
asked ideas. Now,
Okay.
the way we've interacted with USSD so far
Okay.
has made it okay. It looks more like a very okay, you just drop your architecture for the USSD, and then it's not something that is so dynamic, right?
Okay.
So it just follows the pattern that has already been laid out. So is there any way to make to build out something dynamic with USSDs? Like you're trying to do things that fetch out let's say 2 or 3 layers deep information.
Okay.
How do I'm trying to think of how to put this so that I make it very clear.
Okay.
Right. So let's say I'm trying to do a customer service um, application that allows different organizations to be able to build, to be able to add their own information and get customer service dynamically for their clients. Right.
Okay.
You know, when they insert their information, the 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 prompts would now have to be dynamic because it's following what each one of them has submitted, has
Okay.
entered, has
Okay.
created. Yes, yes.
Okay.
So I actually tried to do something like that on a side project, and I realized that the it was warping. I couldn't get it to work.
Mm. Okay. Okay. I get where you're coming from. So yeah, back to your question, it's very possible to develop dynamic applications with USSD, right? So the way USSD works, right, is so USSD works like your normal application, right? It's just that the client calling it, right, is just different. So it's not as if it's a mobile app that is calling it. So you can have some sort of typical backend that has some kind of logic that is executed each time the user imputes something. So say you want to build you want each time that the customer imputes, for example, you dial a USSD code, you want the customer to subscribe to a service, right? Maybe you have some basic service on your own. Maybe you're offering some services. So you have maybe a premium package, a professional package, a basic package. And then each time the customer or the user enters something, you want to execute something in your application to probably calculate some maybe the pricing or whatever have you. It's very, very, very possible with USSD, right? So because at the back end, you have a logic that is looking out for what the user is imputing into the system or into that form, and then you're executing some logic and then responding with whatever the output is. So it's just the same way, for example, if you've worked with your mobile application or maybe your a web or MVC. So the user or maybe the normal JavaScript you have today, maybe on your browser, right? So you can have the user input a number on the form, and then based on the number imputed on the form, you want to do some logic on maybe with your TypeScript or vanilla JS to calculate something, right? That thing is computed and displayed back to the user, right? That's the same thing. The only difference now is that there's a communication between your phone. So you dial a string, maybe Mr. 901 hash, you impute something. For example, you impute 1. That 1 goes all through the mobile network operator to your own USSD app, right? When it gets to your own USSD app, you interpret what that 1 means to you, right? Based on what you've displayed earlier. You execute some logic on the back end, and then you respond. So it's important to note that when you are responding, you are probably responding with JSON or XML or that kind of thing. So you respond with what your output is. And the cycle goes on and on and on like that. I don't know if I answered your question.
Okay, in a way, yes. Although what you answered, I was able to achieve that after so much, I say so
Okay.
much pain.
Okay.
And so I think that will also lead me to another question. But for now, what I tried to do initially was something more like a recursive database query.
Okay.
Yeah. So I noticed that if I'm going to have, USSDs kind of have predefined options if the user selects one, do this. If he selects two, do this. If he selects three, do this. So now what I was trying to do was that point where you are having the, okay, if he selects one, you understand, those options were going to also be fetched dynamically.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to do. So the options will be fetched dynamically, and then the response to display will be fetched dynamically too, based on what the customer, okay, let me say the customer now, by saying the customer, I mean the organization that already submitted the data. And when I say the user, I mean the person using the USSD code, dialing, interacting with it. So based on what the customer already submitted, the data the customer has already submitted as their customer service information, right? If the user is interacting with it, now the user wants to be able to know what service this particular organization runs and what service another organization runs on the same USSD. It's more like an aggregator system.
Okay.
Yes, so on the same USSD platform, trying to get uh, different organizations' customer inquiry, right? So that was what I was trying to do, but I realized that meant that uh, the options, if it's option 1 and option 2 and option 3, would have to be dynamic, or I have to make it super static. That means the the customers can only submit data maybe 1 layer deep or 2 layers deep, and then their their the user can interact with that data strictly based on what has been submitted initially. I don't know if the question is clear.
Yes, it is. So I
Okay.
understand. So it's yeah, it's imperative to understand that actually USSD does have its own limitations, right? But
Yeah.
I think you can still stretch it as much as possible. But it's always going to have its own limitations because it's definitely not web, it's not mobile. There are restrictions. For example, there is restrictions to the number of characters that you can display on USSD. I think the standard is 182 characters. So I mean, you just always have to find your way around it. So there are different methods and thereabouts to make sure that when probably, for example, now what I heard one thing that you said, for example, when the request comes initially, you can make whatever is displayed initially to be dynamic in the first place, such that what a customer A will be seeing will be different from what a customer B is seeing.
Yeah.
So I mean, based on the inputs, for example, if it's an MTN subscriber that is dialing, if the network is sending to you, the network is definitely sending to you that is MTN, definitely MTN that is dialing this code. You can, based on your own logic, and look at it that, okay, since MTN is dialing, please display this for MTN subscribers.
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
This is Airtel, display this for us. You get that kind of thing. So those are the
Yes.
kind of things that you can basically work around with USSD, right? I know it has limitations, and there's no doubt about that. So I hope that answers the questions, right?
Yeah.
Hello?
Gives a bit more light, yes.
Hello? Okay, okay.
Hello,
All
can
right.
you hear me?
Thank you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, okay.
Okay, okay. So we'll move to I don't know if anybody has any other questions. I know we had a bit of a delay at the start, so well, I'll still try my best to work with time, right? I'll just display short video on the relevance of USSD in Africa. So this might give us some other ideas as to some other use cases of it, and I mean how far USSD has also gone in Africa. So I don't know if you can also see my screen, right?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Okay.
So one thing, sorry, the in case the thing
Okay.
ends, I will just open it up again so that we can just join. Sorry about that. Next week, I think we'll be much more organized. We'll be using the paid version next week, so we don't have to break after 40 minutes, please. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Darren.
All right. Please bear with us. Thank you. Okay, so I'll play the video now.
USSD is an old technology. It's been in use by mobile operators for at least a decade in Africa.
The biggest impact so far in Africa has been in the finance sector, primarily mobile money.
The developments in technology have allowed the bridging of the world of USSD with the world of internet-based services. So you see a lot of innovation coming up on the continent because of the connection of these two.
We've seen it in micro and person money, but also it's really great with customer relationship management application.
It could unlock really a lot of value in all areas. For example, in insurance, we're seeing a lot of products pick up there where people are able to subscribe to insurance products on their phone. Companies like Minds in Nigeria are able to offer micro lending services over USSD. You see a lot of agricultural services that are running on USSD, information for farmers about when they should plant, when they should harvest, crop prices, information about really anything that you want can be digitized and made available to all people who have mobile phones on a network through the use of USSD.
So we as Hub Solutions, I hear, came up with this platform where farmers can be able to sell and advertise the produce using a platform we call USSD.
So we can be able to transact with farmers by giving them information that they need and also collecting information from them that we think is necessary for the agriculture sector.
The reason why we've chosen the USSD is because of its flexibility. I mean, a majority of farmers in rural areas have the standard mobile phone. So with the aid of the USSD, we can be able to link all the farmers across the country using the USSD platform.
There are roughly 900 million mobile users, but of those only about 300 million access to internet. So you have 600 million who use mobile services but not internet or are roughly offline. So if you have an application that you want to scale to a wider market, then you need to think about technologies that have offline capabilities.
USSD works with pretty much every GSM phone. So as opposed to apps that work on, smartphones that are from a specific platform like Android or iOS, with USSD, you're simply able to reach many, many more people. And that is an inherent value of its own. Opportunities right now are limitless because, again, it's just a technical means to an end. So the only limit is the creativity that we have as Africans. Instead of asking what USSD can do from a technical point of view, we should be thinking what existing services or what existing value can we digitize and make available to a lot of people through USSD? That would be the right question.
What USSD currently is akin to how the web was in the 90s and early 2000s. So it was really clunky and not so, doesn't have really good UI UX, but I think USSD is going to evolve, particularly in the area of UI and UX. But if it doesn't, then it will inevitably be replaced by technologies that are up with the times.
It's still got some relevance for quite a period of time because there's a lot that has to be developed. And in as much as smartphone penetration on the continent is growing, a lot of countries still have a very long way to go. So it's an easy place to get started, and I think it will still be relevant for at least the next 5 to 10 years. And over time, as smartphone penetration increases continent-wide, we will see USSD apps lose utility. This is like the right time for early innovators to jump on the USSD opportunity because there's going to be a large influx of services, I think, over the maybe in 2 to 3 years. So the people who get started now and develop services that are extremely useful for a large segment of people have a chance to solve a big problem and cash out in a very big way.
So I think we have less than a minute now. So I mean, we might just need to.
Yeah, let's just
Yeah,
let me just stop and I'll
yeah,
open it up
for the
immediately.
concluding part.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.